And the moment those lights went out, I was just like, pew! Hey guys, I'm here. We're about to dive into episode 5 of The Haunting of Hill House. The last episode that we covered here was following Luke, his journey, his story, a little bit more of what he saw back at the house, a lot about how the family views him and like the other side of that. Obviously, we've seen a lot of the family's perspective on Luke in the past few episodes, but we saw his side of it. You know, he's constantly seeing these things. He's connected to Nell in this way that it's just overwhelming. And I'm sure with the trauma and everything they had, he's just, like you said, he's been trying to use his addiction to suppress that noise that has been following him ever since they were in that house. And it's just honestly tragic because none of the other family members really are pulling that much weight, I don't think. Maybe Nell, since she's the one that actually was haunted to the point of actually going to the house. So, you know, I'm curious to see how that push and pulls. I didn't realize that they were twins until this episode, or that they were even the same age. I assume Luke was a little bit older than her. I thought she was the youngest. I think so. It was an interesting little spin that they have this connection, and it plays up a little bit more strongly the bond that these two kind of have and why they were so strongly affected, why it was such a necessary thing for Luke to be in these pivotal points in Nell's life, and then Shirley denying that. It's just very heartbreaking. Like, the more we learn about the family and where things have gone from here and how they've all just been dealing with their traumas in very different ways. Luke's relationship with the girl that he met in the rehabilitation center was, and then her path and being his rock through this whole thing, and then for her to falter was heartbreaking, and then for her to even turn around, use, and then steal money from him. It's like the first little bit of he's like, I hope I never feel like what it felt like to be on the receiving end, like when he was talking about, you know, how much his family had reached out to him after all these shitty things that he's done in the name of his addiction. And then in the same episode, he feels that from somebody he held very close and near and dear to his heart in his own way, helping him through this thing. And we see some different perspectives on what he was doing exactly when he showed up at Steve's apartment. It was not at all what Steve thought, but of course Steve was going to think what Steve thought because of the reputation he's built up at this point. But then they eventually do track him down and reveal that Nell died. But we got a little bit of a twist to it, though. Everybody else keeps claiming suicide. She killed herself. But he can tell and knows, and his whole body is cold because she's dead, and his limbs are stiff. His arms and legs are cold, and he's fine. But it's because of her body, man. It's so sad. It's so messed up, dude. But then he's like, no, it wasn't suicide. She didn't kill herself. So something else happened, and he keeps gripping his neck. So something's going on with one of their necks. He said he slept on it weird, but it ends up with the little story that he told about his foot. It's probably something that happened to Nell. Thinking back on it, in that episode, his mom called out the rafters where that spiral staircase went up, and there was a bunch of those hanging ropes. And she's like, you better clean those up or it's an accident waiting to happen. She was dancing toward the red room, towards that stairwell when we saw her last. Maybe she was pushed, fell off of it, and led off of it, something, and maybe that's where they found her, and that's why it looks like a suicide. And her demon seems to be the bent neck lady. So if her neck got bent by something, then just kind of fall in line with her little spell. But guys, that's enough talking. Let's go ahead and jump into this episode. Remember, if you want to see the full-length reaction to this episode, you can check that out over on Patreon, or if you become a member here on the channel. It's just one way you could support the channel. Another way is just by liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing these videos, getting enough eyes on them to help the video along. But guys, I really appreciate you for coming along this journey with me. Guys, let's go ahead and dive into this episode.
Can I have a locket like that someday?
You can hold on to it tonight, and when you're older,
I'll give you this one.
You know, the mother is also sensitive to this stuff. So, like, I'm surprised. Well, I mean, she gets possessed or something later, but I'm just like, I'm surprised she hasn't picked up any odd feelings or believed any of the stuff that any of them has said. Like, clearly she knows that Theo can do something and that it's possible the other kids can, but she's just like...
I usually start to panic and my breath gets fast and heavy. My heart feels like it's pounding out of my chest.
Just say, was it saying no, 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 or was I just hearing that?
And do you ever see anything during these episodes?
Like what?
People sometimes say they see things.
Sleep paralysis demon.
In the deepest stage, your brain basically switches off the muscles to stop you from acting out your dreams. Your brain wakes up before it starts the engines again. Hallucinations are actually fairly common because of the disrupted boundary between your dream state and your wakefulness. Your dreams may carry over.
I've had sleep paralysis, but like little like spurts of it, but I've never like seen anything. Thank God.
The last doctor I saw, my general practitioner, he just told me to avoid TV before bedtime. It's nice to be listened to.
Do you drink coffee?
Yeah, Are you asking me if I want to get coffee?
It's for the health history section in your file.
Oh.
Oh.
But since you brought it up...
One, I feel like that's a huge, like, probably no for, like, doctor's offices and stuff. Don't date your patients or whatever, even though he's just the technician. But that was a really adorable interaction. So does Luke fill that? Now, if you don't mind, could you, like, pour that into my hand real quick? Let's get that sticky ring on you, and then I'll make you even more sticky. I don't know why that turned into my impression of the mask.
It's taking her forever.
Oh, man, any second, Penny's gonna drop.
There it is.
10 minutes. It took her almost 10 minutes.
10 minutes and 30 days.
Hey, did you call something else yet?
Next week.
Uh,
Arthur doesn't start his UCLA job.
This is the best.
uh-huh.
What are you looking at?
Nothing. Too much champagne, maybe.
You deserve this, Nellie.
What the fuck? Oh. Fuck off, Ghost. What the fuck?
He was dead. He was dead and she was back.
How?
How long had it been? Since you'd seen her, I mean...
Did she fucking snap his neck? What happened?
And then she killed him.
Oh, we've talked about this before. Arthur died of an aneurysm.
I know.
Well, if you know, then you must also know that it was a...
Dude, aneurysms are terrifying.
It's perfectly normal to want to find something to blame.
I know what's to blame.
Hill House.
That just pisses me off. I want to break that ghost's neck. The tea set.
Jacqueline's cup of stars. Here she is.
Jacqueline?
This was her room, actually. Hazel. Her name was Hazel. That's her when she was young.
Did you know her?
I did. She said a lot of things toward the end that didn't make sense. One of the things she kept saying was that Jacqueline needed her cup of stars. I didn't understand then, but I guess I do now.
So can I keep it?
Use your cup of stars. Insist on your cup of stars.
Aw.
Once they've trapped you into being like everyone else, you'll never see your cup of stars again.
So why would you do that?
I didn't.
I saw you playing with chalk yesterday.
On the patio. Are you okay?
No. I have a steel poker in my head, and my daughters are trashing my... You know what? You can help her clean up, Theo.
That was quite the mood swing.
I didn't do it.
Use your powers. Sense the force. Cal Kestis and Ray have this power, and now, Theo.
No. You didn't. I don't see why it matters. I'm pulling down this wallpaper anyway.
Come home, Nell. No. No.
Philly. So does anyone else have another question?
I have a question.
Oh, fuck.
Why do you keep lying to these people? Why did you charge these people $30 a head to sit here and listen to you talk about things that you don't believe?
Look, everybody, I'm sorry about this. My family is just like any other family. We don't always agree on everything.
We're not like any other family. We're different because of where we grew up.
No.
And you tell me I'm crazy and that Mom was crazy and Luke's crazy and we're all just nuts. And then you tell our stories, the same stories that you told me were just dreams or delusions.
We can talk about this later.
And you're supposed to be my big brother. You know, you're supposed to protect me. But you say the meanest things to me when I try to tell you. And then you make so much money.
No.
I'm just asking why. I don't ask you for anything. Ever. Just this.
The fuck, Nell?
It was a fair question.
I've seen all the phases with you. The Christian phase, the New Age phase, the Crystal phase. This was not the time or place. Not the time or place.
I confronted
What
your
a
brother,
fucking asshat.
just like you told me.
How can a house, just a collection of bricks and wood and glass, have that much power over people?
You've never been there.
Well, that's true. But see, neither of you, not for a long, long time. That if you were to look at it today after all these years, empty in the woods, you'd find it's not a monster. It's barely even a house. It's a carcass. I mean, no one's lived there in, what, 26 years?
I...
What would Arthur say to you if he could talk to you right now?
Wow.
For the rest of your life?
That's why she went back. Oh, Star Cup.
What did you mean? Mommy looked hurt. She fell on the floor. Where? We were in the red room having a tea party with Abigail and Mommy. How? The red room's locked. That wasn't Mommy.
The button ritual. He covered in blood.
Did you find Mommy?
I found
How are your brother and sisters doing? Your dad.
I'm sorry. It's Nell. I need you to call me.
Let's not do that right now. And the moment those lights went out, I was just like, pooh! Hell House.
Where have you been? Which way did he go, Nellie?
Oh, there you are. Where have you been?
We were gonna have a tea party.
Nellie, your mom's looking for you.
Mom? She's over here.
I didn't write that.
I know you didn't. Sweetie, we always believed you. Now you have to get dressed for bed. I have something you can wear. Middle drawer of my dresser. You're so beautiful. Oh my goodness. We need to get downstairs.
Downstairs?
Oh, we can't be late for the reception.
We gotta get to the dancing.
I always should have believed you. About everything.
And the house is being like the perfect siren for her right now. Everything she ever wanted to see or hear.
Hi, gorgeous.
All the ghosts are here now. She thinks it's a necklace. Fuck.
It's yours now. It's okay, honey. It's time to wake up, sweetheart.
I don't even... Man, I have no idea how I'm going to trim this one down. So much happened. Well, that was depressing as shit. You guys definitely right. It was an emotional one. It was a crazy one. And her falling through every moment we've seen the broken neck lady. Like, after that, I can't believe I acknowledged, like, I caught that detail, like, just going into this episode 2 about that little line. I thought it would come up, but I didn't think about it in connection to Nell. Like, I don't know why. Until, like, I started talking about Luke at the end of last episode, and he was feeling in his neck the suicide. And then at the beginning of that episode, when he got the hat, his mom was talking about the ropes. Then from all the way back in, what is happening with the time dilation in this house? The writing was on the wall when she was there, saying it was, though it wasn't completely spelled out, and her mother in the end finished it, "Welcome home, Nell." Is her mom like taken over by the house? Or is her mom given into the house? Their mom lure them to the house and their life as well? I don't understand what's going on. Or is the house itself just turning her against them, using her as a visage, but like all the other inhabitants are still specters within? And they were in attendance too there. The perfect calling, screeching, and it was never anything except Nell calling her back this entire time. She was haunting herself because of this timeless power vacuum thing that exists in this house. See, there was a point where I was thinking like the broken neck lady might have turned out to be her mother's specter coming back because how she killed herself. And that it was just her mom creeping over all this time or following her. No, it was her. What was the Luke on the wall vision too that made her concerned about that? And her whole life. You know, the Arthur thing, nothing to do with the house. I don't think there is anything to call upon there. I think at least Theo confirms that much. Especially when you take into consideration that the broken neck lady was her the entire time. It wouldn't have had any malintention at that point. So it was screaming because it was realizing what was happening because it was her. God. Man, when she was telling off Steven at that book signing, dude, that broke me. That got me sad. That was the first moment in this episode that got me to cry. When she was like letting loose, because you just see like every moment through both her and Luke where they've just been disregarded by everybody at every turn when they were the most damaged from what had happened. Everybody else had just kind of broken off and done their own thing, and just like, and then Steven just doing what he did, profiting off of their stories, things he didn't even believe because he didn't witness any of it. At least from what we can tell, he hasn't witnessed any of it. Theo's just in denial. Shirley, who knows what she's seen. Also, it's just those two are completely in denial, but at the same time, Theo knows she can do this thing. Why is she in denial? I don't understand. She doesn't want it to be true. She doesn't believe her own eyes. A mix of all of the above. And just with their history, it just pisses me off even more that they just like disregard and try to drug up Nell, see her make sure she's going to these doctors and stuff like that. It was like, just fucking accept her. God damn it. It pisses me off. It's their fucking fault she ended up in this position. That's where I'm putting the blame. I'm putting the blame on the family. They need to shining this place and burn it down. Just burn it down. I'm mad. I don't know. Like, as sad as I was through like the whole bit, like through the last bit when she's being called into the house, as like I was sad, and I didn't quite tear up until like when her mother was killing her or setting her up to die. I wasn't really getting past that because a lot of my overwhelming moments, emotion in those final moments was just anger. I was sad. I was for sure like feeling that emotion, but like it was just quelled with my anger at this house, anger at her family, anger at this whole situation. But I gotta say, like the way everything looped back around to the phone calls, to the last little bits of like what was happening in other people's things, where Nell was the missing piece, what was happening on the other side of it, and why Luke knows that it wasn't a suicide, and we understand why it looks like a suicide. I need to know what's going on with this house, man. I really do. honestly, I I don't know what to say about the episode. It was beautiful. Like this relationship that she developed with her sleep technician turned husband was really well done and executed. I felt all of that. This was just beautifully directed, well written, and painful to watch. Again, this was a long episode. I think it was one of the longest episodes, if not the longest episode in the season. Let me just double check that real quick. Yeah, no, the final episode is the longest episode, but that was the second longest episode. So we got, I don't know how, there's going to be a lot that I'm not going to be able to include in this, but guys, sound out the comments. Let me know your thoughts down below. We'll carry on the conversation after the video. You can also join the conversation down in the Discord. Links to that and all my socials are down in the description below. If you want to see the full-length reaction to this, it's going to be on Patreon, or if you become a member on the channel, it gets you access to that as well. Speaking of, I want to shout out our channel legends, Mandy Sherritt, Ryan Karen, Jason Coleman, Philly Vane, Yuri Korskov, Margaret Grace, Peeling Zem, and Mary Bradley. Thank you guys so much for your support, and I'll see you guys in the next one. We're halfway down. But guys, happy Halloween. Take care.